good morning, and welcome to the Funkable Operator Podcast, episode 48. This is Jay Funkadelic speaking. How y'all doing this morning? Everything is alright with y'all? Maybe I can just want to refresh your memories about what happened last night with Sierra. Shout out to my homegirl Sierra because I went to see her last night and she was on and popping for the record straight. You know what I'm saying? I knew her from the early 2000s. This is the Funkable Operator Podcast, episode 48, y'all. Jay Funkadelic, hosting this podcast show alongside myself, myself, and I. Don't you think that I listen to a lot of R&B? You know that I do. A lot of R&B is real music. The way I've been checking out all the elements of R&B and hip-hop and reggae and salsa and eclipso or any type of other genre you like listening to. But that's a fact. You know what I'm talking about. The real situation with me is nothing really realistic, but it really could be realistic, even if I could tell you a true story about how I'm reliving and really representing. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta understand. I want to make sure she's alright, this lady. Hope she can join my live, this woman. We need to talk ghetto girl style. You know what I'm saying? I like to put people on my podcast right now and just, making sure she's okay with herself. Candace from the Ghetto Girls. I see you, sister. My favorite ghetto girl of all time. Since 96. I remember that year. I've been seeing you was walking in Harlem with one of your chicks out there. And I've seen you shout out to my homegirl Unique and Candace. I've been seeing them places after places. Tell me to see them a lot of rappers and whatnot. So get the picture. Get the picture. You know what I'm saying? Don't even worry about you declining on there. I got a lot of things to talk about for the record straight. You know what I'm saying? You know how I do. You know how I do. You know what? Don't worry about it. You can call me later. I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to speak to me right now. That's right. You want to call me later? Don't worry about it. No problem, sister. Get it on. Word is born. A lot of people don't even say that record word is born no more. Why is that? How would I feel about you telling me word is born and this and that? You know what I'm saying? Like Fat Joe once said before, he said, yesterday's price, not today's price. It was people can't even deal with the real word is born. You don't even hear him say that no more. Why? Why for a fact that you watch the Fat Joe and Jadakiss podcasts on YouTube and Spotify thinking they talk about real stuff and thinking they want to get to know each other and thinking about, they talk about real stuff on that podcast. Shout out to my boy Fat Joe. A lot of people are really hating on Fat Joe, but absolutely I am not hating on any rapper. I'm not trying to be disrespecting any rapper. Even if they try to spit a dope lyric, Fat Joe's in my top 5. Don't be disrespected by me. I'm talking about if Fat Joe was a good rapper. He's still one of the rappers I like to this day. You know what I'm saying? Fat Joe is a hip hop icon. He's a legend in his prime. You know what I'm saying? He's been in a lot of places. Like I've been in a lot of places. I've been on his live before. Like 5 years ago, I was on his live talking, spitting some bars to the brother. Y'all remember that, right? Y'all remember what I was talking about with him? You know? So he was doing the Fat Joe show. I'm doing the Funkable Operator podcast. You know what I'm saying? We have our own podcast, just like the Locks. Jadakiss, Styles P, and Chic Luke's has their own podcast. You know what I'm saying? Because I enjoyed Two Jews and Three Black Guys. It's a fun podcast that I really like, and they've been doing it in one of the studios that I've been in, like D Block Studios, which I've never been before, on Sawmill Parkway in Yonkers. How would I really recommended that, if you're really a Locks fan, put the emojis up if you're a Locks fan. And if you're a Migos fan, if you're not a Migos fan, put the trash emojis up. Who do you prefer to be one of the best rappers in the game? The Locks or the Migos? Rest in peace to Takeoff. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't really care about liking the Migos. They music's alright, but I like the Locks better because they came out before the Migos. You know what I'm saying? The Migos are like, you know what I'm saying? I never like to listen to their music. I'm not really feeling a lot of rappers that don't have no stilo and not no ghetto style music like they did back in the mid and the late 90s. So we gotta like make sure these rappers do their own thing, making sure everything can be all right for the time straight, from the time being, or what you know about real hip hop that is strictly ghetto. You know what I'm saying? I rap for the streets and rap for the heart, for my own self. I don't have to be a famous rapper. I don't have to have no bodyguards, but I can be careful of my surroundings, do what I have to do, and that's about it. You know what I'm talking about? How many of y'all remember the Black Spades in hip hop? How many of y'all remember Grandmaster Flowers? How many of y'all remember Grandmaster DST? How many of y'all remember the old school like Funkmaster Wizard Wiz or Charlie Chase or Joe Gonzo taking hip hop's baby pictures when hip hop was really starting, just like going through the disco fever, hanging out with Sal Abatalo. You know what I'm saying? Like the graffiti, the beatboxing, the DJing, the MCing, peace, love, and unity, and also having fun. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to respect the elements of what I really recommended from the time being. If you're liking all that rap stuff and making sure you get a deal and you want to be finding your own powers that be, just like Chuck D said from Public Enemy. Shout out to my boy Chuck D. You know what I'm saying? For Public Enemy, he came out with a new album called The Projects of 2025. Y'all really recognize Public Enemy is still doing their thing. I'm proud of those guys. They was inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? Flavor Flav is still doing his thing. He is sober. He's living healthy in his own life. That's why you got to keep yourself on point to rock funky joints like I do and anybody else does from back in the day until this day. Listen to underground hip hop and the old school. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of rappers better like check themselves or they wreck themselves. Just like I listen to Lil Durk, but I don't. When I saw Lil Durk, he was called Lil Duck Sauce. How would I recommend to call him Lil Duck Sauce? Because he's going to look for chicken in prison, looking for duck sauce. How would I represent my man Dice Peso being a rapper when he got signed to Jim Jones from the Dipset? Do y'all think about Dice Peso been signed to Dipset with Jim Jones? I wish I was a rapper that was signed to Nas. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely 100% get a forward Nas if I was signed for him. Because I'm a good lyricist by the other side from Nas. Nas is one of the GOATs. And he's from Queensbridge. And we know he was from QB. You know, came out with QB's finest. If it was for Nas, there would be no Davies. There would be no Lakey the Kid. There would be no Cormega. There would be no Jungle or Wiz, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, there would no Chihuahua record, none of that crap. Because Nas paid the way for Queensbridge rappers. If there was no MC Shan, there would be no Nas, especially. You know what I'm talking about? Because, you know, a lot of rappers are really soft these days. They don't know how to spit a dope lyric in their life. I would never hear no bars from any rapper that they play on Hot 97 or Power 105.1. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people are not going to respect the culture, but they still don't respect the culture. How would I feel about that from the situation for my time being? You know what I'm talking about, right? And there's a lot of cocksuckers that don't really give a damn about the way you spit. I give a damn the way I spit because when I rap, it's like a movie. It's a motion picture, not a preview. It's a motion picture, not a preview. You know what I'm talking about. For my own situation, we have to respect the culture. You don't respect the culture, you're out of bounds, you're not hip-hop, you can get the hell out of here. You can get the hell out of Dodge from my own time being. You know what I'm talking about? There's people are going to be looking at you crazy. People are going to be sucking your teeth. They'll be like, oh, you're whack, you're whack. A lot of people ain't feeling my music. So what am I worried about? from the time being that I am Jay Funkadelic. I am the Funkable operator because I fought the funk back and had to restore what I said on the cassettes and on the CDs and the vinyl. You know what I'm saying? How many of y'all got this DJ Khaled? Okay? How many of y'all got Two Live Crew? How many of y'all got this album, Public Enemy, He Got Game? Okay? How many of y'all remember this album? I remember y'all remember Kirk. I don't know if this is Kirk. Can y'all see that? Yeah, it is Kirk, making moves. I knew it was Kirk. The one that went to Uptown Style. I know you like it. You know we like it. That was like an unreleased hip-hop record. What about this? This classic album, Big Daddy Kane, Chase the Chocolate. You know what I'm saying? What about this one, Warren G? What about Bone Thugs and Harmony? How many of y'all remember this shit? I remember y'all, the dopeness of hip-hop music, just like you listen to Souls and this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta respect these rappers. This is a blank tape. You know what I'm saying? How many of y'all got the Spring Clientele album? You know I got the book, The Ghostface Killer. You know what I'm talking about with this. You know what I'm saying? And how about the 50 Cent book? And how about the Fat Joe? Okay? Hold on a second. I'll be right there. How many of y'all remember Will Smith's book? The pages that he did. You know what I'm saying? All the pages from Will Smith. You know? A lot of rappers ain't got no stilo, you know what I'm saying, nowadays, because most of y'all rappers really absolutely suck. You know what I'm saying, nowadays. You remember this because I remember when Jermaine Dupri was on the Fat Joe and Jadakiss podcast. This is the record I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? The record, Jermaine Pre-Instructions. I remember about this. How many of you remember about, oh no, that was not it. Hold on a second. This is the record. This is the DVD called Friday After Next, the bootleg version. You know what I'm talking about, right? All these blank CDs I have to be in a real goddamn collection. And this is the last year's Ghostface Killer album, Set the Tone. You know what I'm saying? It was like an advanced copy that I just used for my own self. You know what I'm talking about? I remember this. I remember y'all remember this. NWA Legacy. I didn't remember Grandmaster Flash. You know what I'm saying? Last night I went to see this lady. You know what I'm talking about? Sierra. You know Sierra, right? That's me and Sierra right there holding up the album. Shout out to my homegirl Sierra. But she was doing her own thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like this. It's like happy belated birthday to my Blast Master KRS-One. Happy 60th birthday to the Blast Master, the teacher. You know what I'm saying? People taking rap for a joke. Well, why did he get challenged by Millennium C's? I try to tell them, we're in this together. Think what I think and do what I do. Still the show, leaving hanging with a clue. You know? There's a lot of inputs of what I have from doing albums. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, remember like last week was Chuck D's birthday party. Like last couple of weeks ago, it was Chuck D's birthday. Happy belated birthday to my boy Chuck D from Public Enemy. You know what I'm saying? We had to fight the powers that be. Shout out to my boy Flavor Flav. Yeah, boy, Cole Medina. Back to the subject. Back to my own subject of Jay Funkadelic spitting some bars at your butts. You know what I'm saying? I can't even curse on this podcast. I wish I did, but my parents are watching me from this live. They don't want to see me say anything profanity or nothing because it's going to screw up everything. You know what I'm talking about? You know how I hear things but don't hardly hear nothing when I take it back to a blank cassette tape, you know? And when I take it back to listen to Curtis Blow, America. How many of y'all people have this record? this cassette tape, Curtis Blow, America. How many of y'all people have that? Most of y'all even don't, because most of y'all people really ignore me. What about Scarface, The Untouchables? How many of y'all remember that? How many of y'all be thinking about how much hip hop that I love to support the culture for the right only reason? If you don't respect this guy, I don't know what's wrong with you. Cormega. He's one of the dopest hip hop guys ever seen in my whole life. Cormega. If it was for Nas, this guy wouldn't be here today. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? I just downloaded and put on CD L Cool J The Force. Okay, this is what I'm really talking about. You gotta respect the culture. Every time you want to put a CD inside, you know what I'm saying? This is M1 from Dead Prez. You know, I love a lot of hip hop in my own times, but hip hop is really fundamental. Hip hop is really fundamental the way I say things. You know what I'm talking about? You know how shit could be in my own life. Let me show you some vinyls. Let me show you some classic stuff as I maintain to do what I have to do. You know, for the record straight. These are my CDs that I purchased over the years. This is from my old Xbox, SmackDown vs. Raw. This is old school rap that I did at Funkable Radio. Okay, all the CDs that I did over the years are worth a lot of collections. How many of you remember this? MATHOD, man. I remember Kanye West. This was his first album, I believe it was his first album, before it was on all platforms. This was Kanye West's album that was out since 2003. You know what I'm saying? I have a lot of collections of my own self. Maybe I can show you some vintage pictures of me. Okay? Vintage pictures. Remember this shit right here? This was off the J-Man mixtape. But you know what? The mixtape disbanded from that piff. And this is me when I was like 10 years old. I believe I was in this picture. This was like about 39 years ago. This picture was taken. This is at my middle school of Edelson. Okay? And here's none of all but goodie. How do y'all remember this? How do you remember this? This is me when I was a kid. I was like about 3 or 4 years old. This is me when I was a baby. This is like 40-something years ago. Me holding Cookie Monster. Rest in peace, my cousin Anthony P. Miro. Rest in peace. He died like 27 years old. What a shame. And here's Nolly but goodie. Who remembers this used to be my dog Coco, rest in peace. My favorite dog of all time, Coco. She died like 10 years ago of cancer. And how do you remember this? This was Lewis. This was like back in the early 90s. And this was like in my high school days. You know what I'm saying? This was Pleasantville Cottage School. I'm giving you a history lesson, y'all. Because people don't even respect my own ways of my own documentaries. This was me right here back in the day, like in the mid 90s. And my sisters, all her friends were there. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? Because I got a lot of inputs of what I do. Rest in peace, shout out to Aunt Kitty. Okay? I have a lot of vintage pictures of myself. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying to my own self? This was me at vintage McDonald's. Who y'all remember this shit right here? This is me when I was a baby. This is me when I was a toddler back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to rest in peace to well, that's Bobby. That's Diana's ex-husband, Bobby. You know what I'm saying? That's Mark. Me and him are the same age. Me and Mark, but that's grew up together. And this is Remember this right here? Cousin Gary, rest in peace. I remember my cousin died in 2009 of hepatitis C. This was me, and this was cousin Gary in Seaside Heights. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you like a history lesson of my golden era vintage pictures that I did like years ago. And this was me in McDonald's on Williamsbridge Road years ago. Forget about it. This is so vintage. This is like the golden age of me before I became a rapper, before I came a hip hop like element, brother. You know? But I ain't knew hip hop that time. That was like in the late 70s. You know what I'm saying? This is me when I was a kid. Me when I was a kid. Hold on. Me holding Ernie. Jay Funkadelic and Ernie right there. Yeah, that's my mother, that's my sister. And this is one of my best dogs ever had, my mom ever had in my whole lifetime, Coco. And yeah, I remember Coco. Shout out to my homegirl Aunt Brenda, but she lived in Florida. Her husband and two of her sons passed away in Florida. So, you know, one had hepatitis C, one had dried out drug overdose, and one died unexpectedly. This is rest in peace to Coco. Shot them home, shot my auntie and Brenda. So this is Jay Funkadelic, you know, telling you the real facts of my history of life. You know what I'm saying? I got more books to show you. More like a lot of technology that you've been really checking me out for whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I got more stuff to show you. I got more stuff to show you. At least I have. Got more stuff to show you from my own time being a rapper, taking advantage of my own goddamn life. You know? This is me and Busta Rhymes right there. Me and my homegirl, Little Kim, Queen B. I got more pictures. And this is me and Ashanti. It was kind of tough taking a picture with this guy. Shout out to my boy from Miami, DJ Khaled. We the best music. Major key. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to respect the culture. I got a lot more pictures that I have on my social media than showing you pictures right now from back in the day. You know what I'm talking about? Because all these pictures are really vintage for my own self. You know? Taking advantage of the good life. My life has been beautiful. If you don't respect hip hop, you don't get nowhere in life. This is how you do it. Chuck D presents hip hop rap history, and it shows you some type of things that we all look at from all hip hop mankind. You know what I'm saying? This is rest in peace, shout out to Nate Dogg. He didn't take his medication, and that's why he got very sick and he passed away. Shout out to my boy Nate Dogg. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you the beginning of it. Show you a history lesson from hip hop. Shout out to my boy Grandmaster Flash from the Furious Five. Shout out to my boy Melly Melamania, brother. You know, I was giving you a little time machine type of situation for my own self. You know how I do. What about this record right here? MC Shan. The album's not even on Apple Music. Play it again, Shan. How many remember that? How many of y'all be thinking that I have the Warren G take and throw off the shoulder? What if I be thinking about having old school hip hop, the old school rap songs that I created from over the years, from the time being? You know what I'm saying? This is the old school hip hop that I did from back then. Old school rap volume 1. That was a vintage. This is blank CD. I don't know what's on it. Funkville Radio, Hip Hop Hits 2011. And you have and you have some other shit that I really want to be recorded, and it's well said than done. That I have this vinyl right here. You know what I'm saying? This is OC and Yvette Michelle. I know the record's kind of dusty, This record was called Far From Yours, and it was a dope ass record. I was feeling OC when it came out on his album Word Life. You know what I'm saying? I never been to OC before, but I would love to get a photo with the brother, even if I see him in person, knowing that I'm a real hip hop artist and being a superstar the way I should be a rap superstar and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? Because I am a real lyricist. I ain't no joke when it comes to hip hop. How do I remember these? Young TV Raps, trading cards. You know what I'm saying? I have like all of this from Public Enemy, from Digital Underground, and all these dudes. You know what I'm saying? That's a real collection right there. Showing what Young TV Raps and stuff. Let me show you some real pictures. Let me show you. My great grandfather, rest in peace, and that's me, wearing a Burger King hat. You know, and this is how y'all remember this club? How many remember Club Bada Bing? Club Bada Bing in somewhere in the Bronx. Maybe I forgot about it. Maybe it could be on West Palm Square somewhere. But I really know about Club Bada Bing. Vanessa took me there one time. You know what I'm saying? Oh, come on. It's me and my pops right there. Maybe too young to see something like that. You know my father, right? And this is me when I was a baby, growing up to be a hip hop superstar. But I didn't know about rap by then. You know what I'm talking about? I was giving you a taste of my own old school documentaries of what I'm saying. Not really a documentary, but what I'm saying on this live from the Funkable podcast, episode 48. And I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace.